Let me take you somewhere strange, somewhere beyond the veil of ordinary consciousness. I'm not talking about a metaphor or a dream. I'm talking about a very real, very disorienting dimension that some of us, without even realizing it, have actually entered. It doesn't look like a place. It doesn't follow time. It doesn't obey the logic of this world. But if you're in it, you know, or rather you feel. You feel like you've been removed from the known matrix. You feel like you're floating through something that has no structure, no direction, and no ground. And yet, paradoxically, it feels sacred. This is what I call the void-born dimension, and if you're experiencing it, it's not a mistake. It's a massive gift, but only if you understand what's happening. The first sign you're in this strange void-born dimension is that your life has gone eerily quiet, but not in a peaceful way. It's like the universe hit mute on your reality. Opportunities dry up, relationships pause or vanish. Even your own desires feel like they've been unplugged. You try to manifest, to pray, to act, but nothing moves. It's not depression. It's not laziness. It's a cosmic pause. You've been pulled out of the game, not because you're broken, because you've been selected. This silence is not absence, it's incubation. Think about it, seeds don't grow in sunlight. They start in darkness. The void is the womb of creation. And if you've been pulled into it, it's because your soul is preparing to birth something that has never existed before. But first, you must learn to sit in stillness without trying to escape it. The second sign is strange and uncomfortable. Time stops working. Hours stretch or vanish. Days blur. You lose the ability to track your life the way you used to. The calendar becomes meaningless. Deadlines dissolve. You feel unhooked from the rhythm of society and it terrifies you. But this is not chaos. It's deconstruction. The void-born dimension is outside of linearity. It's a realm where the soul is being recalibrated to a new frequency. And that frequency doesn't run on human clocks. When you're in this space, you are actually being trained to perceive beyond time. Your future self is reaching back and rewiring your now. That's why you feel like you're floating between worlds, because you are. So let me ask you, can you trust the timeless long enough to let something eternal be born in you? The third sign is that your old identity begins to collapse and nothing new takes its place. This is terrifying. You don't know who you are anymore. The roles you used to play no longer fit. The dreams you used to chase don't excite you. The personality you've performed begins to dissolve, and you can't find anything real to replace it. This is not a crisis, it's a shedding. The void-born dimension strips you of the ego constructs that were keeping your soul from emerging. You're not losing yourself. You're losing the layers that weren't you. But here's the thing, the void will not rush to give you a new mask. It will wait. It will sit with you in the formlessness until you are ready to feel yourself as essence, not identity. This is the birthplace of true authenticity. Are you willing to be nothing long enough to become everything? The fourth sign is that your intuition becomes louder but less comforting. You start getting insights, sensations, downloads, but they don't make sense. They don't tell you what to do. They just disrupt. You might feel a sudden urge to leave a job, a city, a relationship, but no clear reason why. This is how the void speaks. It doesn't explain. It disorients. Because it's trying to move you from logic to resonance. Your soul already knows where it's going, but the mind is still catching up. So the void floods your system with signals that override your mental programming. And yes, it feels chaotic, but it's sacred chaos. It's divine interference. What would happen if you stopped demanding clarity and started following frequency instead? The fifth sign is that people can no longer meet you where you are. Conversations feel hollow. Social interactions become draining. Even those you once felt close to now feel distant. This isn't arrogance. This isn't disconnection. This is energetic upgrading. When you enter the void-born dimension, your frequency begins to shift so fast that others can't sync with you unless they've also stepped into the void. That's why loneliness becomes a companion. But it's not a punishment. It's a purification. The void is removing all the noise so you can finally hear your own signal. And once you stabilize that signal, new soul-aligned connections will begin to arrive, not as distractions, but as reflections. So I ask you this: can you sit in the silence of loneliness long enough to become a tuning fork for truth? The sixth sign is that you begin sensing other realities, but they don't feel like visions or dreams. They feel realer than this world. You might catch glimpses of places that don't exist in this dimension. You might feel presences that don't belong to your timeline. You might begin dreaming in symbols that don't belong to any language you know. This is not imagination. This is dimensional bleed-through. The void-born dimension is an interstitial space. It touches all timelines. It's the realm of the architects, the place where consciousness designs reality before it incarnates. When you're in the void, you're standing at the blueprint level of existence. That's why things feel surreal. You're not crazy. You're remembering. The veil is thin here. The question is, what are you going to do with what you're being shown? And finally, the seventh sign. The most hidden, the most powerful. You begin to feel a strange kind of peace in the middle of the storm. Not comfort, not ease, but a deep cellular knowing that everything is exactly as it should be. This peace doesn't come from answers. It comes from surrender, from letting go of the need to exit the void and instead choosing to become it. And when that happens, when you stop resisting the darkness, the stillness, the unknowing, you begin to glow. Not outwardly, inwardly. You become a lighthouse inside the void. And that's when the miracle happens. The void starts to respond. It shapes around you. It speaks to you. It creates with you, because you're no longer just passing through. You've become a co-creator within it. So I'll ask you one final question. Are you ready to stop escaping the void and start creating from it? The void responds. How to build reality from the inside out, while everyone else is still waiting. So here we are, still floating, but this time with a different awareness. You've begun to recognize that the void isn't a punishment or a prison. It's a sacred space of reconfiguration, a place between stories. But now something else begins to stir. The stillness you once feared becomes the soil of a strange new power. You start to feel it, not as a sudden explosion, but as a quiet hum, a frequency within your chest. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't beg to be noticed, but it's there. It's the beginning of your reality-building capacity. In the void-born dimension, you are no longer a character in the dream. You are becoming the dreamer of the dream. And that means the void will now start responding to your inner alignment, not your outer effort. Reality is no longer built by force. It's built by frequency. This is the first secret of creating inside the void. Nothing responds to your will. Everything responds to your coherence. Your thoughts don't shape reality unless your body, your emotions, your breath, and your soul are vibrating in harmony. That's why in the void, nothing happens when you try to manifest from desperation. You can chant affirmations, visualize goals, push energy, but if your internal system is chaotic or fragmented, the void gives you silence. Because it's not listening to your words, it's listening to your resonance. So ask yourself, what is the signal I'm emitting when I'm not trying to control anything? That is the true creative frequency. And inside the void, that frequency is your brush, your chisel, your divine keyboard. You don't build reality by force. You compose it like music, with vibration, with presence, with truth. But here's where it gets wild. Once you begin to stabilize your frequency, the void doesn't just create around you, it begins to mirror you. You'll start to notice strange synchronicities. People you've never met echo your inner thoughts. Signs show up in dreams, then repeat in waking life. You think of someone and they message you. You speak a truth and the environment shifts to reflect it. This isn't coincidence. This is dimensional feedback. You've entered a realm governed not by logic but by symbolic intelligence. Everything becomes a metaphor. Everything becomes a message. The void is constantly talking to you in archetypes, symbols, and energetic echoes. The question is, are you paying attention? Are you tracking the language of the unseen? Because in the void-born dimension, the world is built by the stories you believe, the symbols you activate, and the truths you embody. And that brings us to the next secret. You cannot fake it anymore. Not in the void. Not in this dimension. Here, falsehood collapses fast. Performances dissolve. Half-hearted decisions backfire. Why? Because the void is a purity field. It filters out distortion. If you try to build from ego, the structure won't hold. If you try to attract love from lack, the connection will shatter. If you pursue abundance from fear, it snips through your fingers. This is not punishment, it's precision. The void will only crystallize what is true. So this demands radical self-honesty. You must ask yourself daily, am I creating from integrity or from illusion? The scary part? You can't lie to the void. The beautiful part? You don't need to. You just need to bring your real self forward, raw, imperfect, aligned. Now let's talk about the architecture of reality in this strange dimension. It's not built in straight lines, it's built in spirals. That means you'll revisit the same themes again and again, but each time at a higher octave. Your breakdowns aren't failures, they're recalibration points. Your confusion isn't regression, it's dimensional adjustment. Every time you cycle through a painful pattern, you're not stuck, you're being invited to embody a deeper layer of truth. The void doesn't punish repetition. It uses it to refine your resonance. So stop judging yourself for spiraling. Ask instead, what is this loop trying to teach me at this new frequency? That's how you evolve inside the void, not by escaping cycles, but by alchemizing them. And here's something even more mind-bending. As your internal coherence sharpens, the void begins to accelerate. Reality starts forming faster. You'll notice your thoughts becoming magnetic. People mirror your emotional state. Opportunities show up in direct response to your clarity. But here's the twist. You can't chase these outcomes. You can only allow them. If you try to manipulate the void, it goes quiet again. If you try to use the void to get what you want, you fall out of sync. The only way to remain in the creative slipstream is to stay inwardly congruent. That means you must let go of the addiction to control. You must trust the quantum intelligence of your own soul. You must live like a musician improvising in harmony with the cosmos. Because in truth, that's what you are now, a dimensional artist. And finally, the greatest paradox of all. The more you surrender, the faster it builds. In the old world, surrender meant weakness. In the void, surrender is initiation. The more you relax into the unknown, the more the unknown reveals its treasures. The more you stop chasing alignment, the faster alignment finds you. This is the inverted logic of the void-born dimension. Results don't come from effort, they come from essence. Power doesn't come from striving, it comes from stilling. Your value isn't measured by performance, it's measured by presence. So the ultimate practice in this realm is not doing more. It's being deeper, listening more, trusting more, embodying more. The void doesn't need you to hustle, it needs you to harmonize. And once you do, reality stops being something you push against. It becomes something you play with. So let me ask you this. Now that you've built in silence, now that you've seen the void respond to your actual essence, if the universe is mirroring your frequency right now, what does your life say about what you're broadcasting? Not what you think you're putting out. Not what you say when you're trying to be spiritual, but what you really live. Because the void doesn't respond to your image. It responds to your truth. And the moment you own that, everything begins to move fast. Becoming the architect, how to anchor heaven while walking through shadows. If you've made it this far, you're not just visiting the void, you're becoming fluent in it. You've realized the silence was never empty. The stillness was never stagnation. The disorientation was never disconnection. It was preparation. And now the invitation deepens. You are no longer a witness to the strange laws of this dimension. You are being asked to become a living architect of the new reality. Not in theory, in action, in embodiment, in choice. But here's the paradox. Building in this realm doesn't look like building in the traditional sense. You're not stacking bricks. You're not climbing ladders. You're anchoring frequencies. You're holding codes. You're transmitting truth through how you breathe, how you speak, how you walk into a room. That's what it means to anchor heaven while walking through shadows. You become the bridge between worlds. And the first truth every architect of light must face is this: you will still feel the darkness. Not because you're failing, but because you're carrying the torch. People think awakening means you stop hurting, stop doubting, stop falling. But in the void-born dimension, awakening means you finally have the capacity to feel deeper without being destroyed by it. You become more open, not more armored. You hold grief like a sacred fire. You let fear move through you without letting it make your choices. You become the kind of presence that can sit in the middle of chaos and not flinch. That's not weakness. That's spiritual musculature. That's what makes you a builder of timelines. Because you're no longer reacting to the world, you're rewriting it from within. So how do we do it? How do we walk through collapsing systems, through shifting identities, through uncertain futures, and still radiate something true? It starts with one core principle: alignment over appearance. Every single day you'll be tempted to perform, to post something that looks spiritual instead of living something that is, to say what people want to hear instead of what resonates in your bones. But the void-born frequency doesn't reward performance. It amplifies authenticity. That means your leadership might look quieter than you expected. It might look like rest, like saying no, like not knowing, like listening deeper. It might look like protecting your energy instead of proving your worth. And in doing so, you become a beacon of integrity, and others will feel it even if they don't understand it. But here's where it gets even more mystical. As you stabilize in this dimension, you begin to notice that you are not alone. Not just in the physical realm, but in the unseen. Guides begin to show up, ancestors, higher versions of yourself. You begin to feel that your journey is part of a larger orchestration. You're not just healing for you. You're transmuting for your lineage, for your soul group, for humanity itself. This isn't pressure, it's purpose. You were never meant to carry the whole weight of the world, but you are meant to hold a specific strand of the new world's DNA, a code, a frequency, a blueprint. And when you hold it with devotion, not performance, you become a node in the new grid, a transmitter of Eden frequencies, a living temple. This is the quiet revolution. And let's talk about something that scares many: power. Because when you begin to create from the void, you start to notice that things actually respond. People listen, opportunities arrive, miracles unfold. And part of you might want to shrink, to hide, to sabotage. Why? Because we've been conditioned to fear our own impact, to associate power with corruption. But in this dimension, power is not dominance. It's not control. It's clarity. The clearer you become inside, the more the world organizes around you. That's not ego. That's essence in motion. So the real question becomes, can you hold your power without needing to prove it? Can you stand in your light without dimming it or weaponizing it? Can you use your influence to open doors for others, not just yourself? That's the mark of a true architect. As we continue to build in this strange and sacred realm, another truth emerges. You are not building alone. There are others. Maybe you've already met them. Maybe they're still on their way. But they're out there, other void walkers, other builders of the new grid. And when you find them, something wild happens. Reality begins to weave itself through your connection. Synchronicities multiply, visions align, and you realize that your individual frequency was never the full picture. It was a piece of a divine mosaic. So don't isolate, don't armor up. Yes, discern. Yes, protect your field. But also watch for the ones who speak your soul's language without needing words. When you recognize each other, you'll feel it in your bones. And when you collaborate, not from ego, but from devotion, dimensions shift. And finally, the last revelation. The one that unlocks everything. This dimension is not just a place you visit, it's a state you carry. That means even when the world looks chaotic, even when things fall apart, even when reality seems dense, you can still hold the void-born frequency. You can still walk as a builder of timelines. You can still anchor heaven in your own nervous system, your own relationships, your own creations. This isn't a phase, it's a rebirth. And once it's activated in you, you can never unknow it. Your job now is to remember faster, to return to coherence more quickly, to choose alignment more consistently. And in doing so, you become a living invitation, a walking portal, a reminder to everyone you meet that something else is possible, that the old world isn't the only world, that we are already in the new if we choose to see it. So I leave you with this. If your frequency became the blueprint for the next civilization, what kind of world would be built from your presence? Would it be rooted in fear or freedom? In shame or sovereignty? In performance or presence? The void-born dimension is not somewhere you escape to. It's where you remember who you are, so you can bring that remembrance back to Earth. And if you felt this transmission in your bones, then you've already begun. From Voidwalker to Visionary, you are the portal now. Now that we've walked the spiral of the void together, let's go one layer deeper. Because there's one final transformation that happens, but it's so subtle, so intimate, most people miss it. It's the moment when the void is no longer something outside you, but something you realize is within. You stop thinking of it as a place you were pulled into, and start remembering it as a part of your own cosmic architecture. You are the void-born frequency now. You are the liminal space between dimensions. You are the stillness that births motion, the silence that births song. And that changes everything. Because now, everywhere you go, you don't just carry light, you carry source code. You've become the portal, a living, breathing, walking doorway between the old world and the new. And that's not poetic exaggeration. That's spiritual physics. When you walk into a room now, the energy shifts. Not because you're trying, but because your field is encoded with a deeper truth. People might not know why, but they feel something when they're near you. Some feel calm. Some feel triggered. Some feel inspired. Some feel afraid. That's not personal. That's resonance. You're no longer interacting with people on the surface. You're interacting soul to soul. And that kind of presence does something to people. It wakes them up. It confronts them. It activates dormant memories, ancient codes, future timelines. This is the responsibility of a voidwalker turned visionary, to hold your field steady even when others don't understand it, even when they project onto it, even when they try to shrink it, because you're not here to be liked, you're here to be true. But let's be honest, That truth comes with trials. As your frequency rises, so does the intensity. You'll be tested in strange ways. You'll feel stretched between worlds, 1 foot in the density, 1 foot in the divine. You'll be asked to hold peace in chaos, clarity in confusion, love in the face of fear. And you'll wonder if you're strong enough, if you're ready, if you're even sane. This is where many turn back. But if you stay, if you breathe through the distortion, if you keep choosing devotion over doubt, something magnificent happens. You stop identifying as the one who is transforming, and you start embodying the transformer. You become the field. You become the tone. You become the center around which reality organizes. And that's when you realize the void didn't change you. It revealed you. And now the final gift appears. Not in the sky, not in visions, but in the mirror. You look at yourself, and for the first time in your life, you recognize your own eyes. Not as a personality, not as a story, but as a presence, a soul, an intelligence that spans lifetimes, dimensions, galaxies. You see the eternal part of you that has always been here, watching, waiting, guiding, not judging your mistakes, but loving your remembering. That moment is the true end of the void journey, not because the path stops, but because you stop forgetting. And when that happens, your entire orientation shifts. You're no longer chasing purpose. You're no longer begging for signs. You are the sign. You're no longer asking for a map. You are the map. And every step you take becomes a message to the universe. I remember who I am. But let's ground this in the real world. What does this actually look like in daily life? It means your decisions are no longer driven by survival, but by resonance. You stop saying yes to things that drain your soul. You stop tolerating environments that dim your light. You stop playing small to stay safe. Instead, you build relationships that mirror your truth. You create from inspiration, not obligation. You listen to your body like it's a sacred instrument. You trust your timing even when the world is rushing. You speak when it's real. You rest when it's needed. You move when the energy says go. Your life becomes a living oracle. Every action, an invocation. Every silence, a transmission. Every moment, a portal. And yes, you'll still be human. You'll still cry. You'll still forget. You'll still get knocked off center. But now you return faster. You recalibrate quicker. You remember with more grace. Because the void taught you how. It trained your nervous system to hold paradox. It baptized your heart in stillness. It showed you that emptiness is not absence, it's a canvas. And now you're painting with light, with intention, with legacy. And this, my friend, is the real prize. Not fame, not followers, not status, but sovereignty. That unshakable inner knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what your soul came here to do, even if no one else sees it, even if the world hasn't caught up yet, because you're not waiting for validation anymore. You are anchoring the future. So I'll leave you with this final question, the deepest one yet. If your life was the initiation for millions of others to awaken, would you live it any differently? Would you be more honest? Would you be more bold? Would you forgive faster? Would you love louder? Because the truth is, someone is watching you. Not in a creepy way, in a cosmic way. Your ancestors, your future children, your soul family. The version of you who already remembers. They're watching, cheering, whispering, keep going. You're doing it. You've already won. So don't quit now. Don't shrink now. Don't forget now. You didn't come this far to go back to sleep. You came to build the dream. And now that you've crossed the threshold, there's only one thing left to do. Now that everything has been stripped away, your masks, your timelines, your identities, what remains is not emptiness. What remains is essence. Not the kind that needs to be proven, but the kind that just is. There's a holy quiet that settles in the soul when you realize you no longer need to chase any version of yourself. You are here. You are now. And this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, it is enough. Not because it's small, but because it is infinite. You begin to understand that eternity isn't out there in the stars or in a future utopia. Eternity is this exact presence when you are fully inside yourself with nothing left to pretend. And when you live from that space, reality bends not to your will but to your being. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to run to arrive. You don't need to do anything to be divine. You simply allow yourself to become the space through which the divine walks. This is the final integration, to walk in the world as one who knows the world is not all there is. You go back into society. You handle bills, heartbreaks, boundaries, and traffic, but you do it with different eyes. You're not escaping the matrix. You're upgrading it with your presence. You become a disruptor of illusions, not by fighting them, but by refusing to feed them. You stop arguing with the old world because you know it can't hold what you carry now. Instead, you plant seeds of the new in everything you touch. A conversation, a project, a relationship, a decision. You realize the revolution is not loud, it is cellular. And in every moment you choose truth over fear, wholeness over performance, and presence over projection. You collapse timelines of suffering and open gates of remembrance. Not just for you, but for all who witness you. And the beauty of this? You no longer need to be perfect. You don't need to be enlightened, ascended, or constantly high vibe. You just need to be honest. That's the code. That's the power. That's what makes you a true architect of the new world. You live with your heart open, your soul anchored, and your mind in service to something larger than logic. You speak when something real moves through you. You rest when your body says stop. You grieve when sadness arrives, and you laugh when joy erupts. You become utterly alive. And in that state of aliveness, the divine gets to express through you, unfiltered, unedited, unafraid. That's what changes the world, not your image, not your brand, your embodiment. You become the place where heaven touches earth, and that is no small thing. That is the wildest miracle of all. So what now? You walk. You walk this world with reverence, with clarity, with fire in your eyes and truth in your bones. You don't need a map, you are the map. You don't need a destination, you are the destination. And every step you take as your true self becomes a prayer, a ripple, a recalibration of the whole field. So walk slow, walk bold, walk honest. You are not the seeker anymore. You are the threshold itself, the bridge, the evolutionary edge. And as you live from that knowing, the final veil dissolves, not with fanfare, not with fireworks, but with a whisper that echoes through the void. Welcome home. It was always you.